Hello everyone, this is Amanda from Story and Stone. I'm coming to you today with the weekly reading for the collective from the 20th of October to the 26th of October. I will just quickly, I'm just quickly going to go through housekeeping. This is a reading for the collective, and it may not necessarily resonate with you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. Just take what does and leave the rest. The cards that I'm using in today's reading are the Illustrated Herbiary, the Illustrated Crystallary, and the Illustrated Bestiary, all by Maia Toll. This video is actually coming out a bit late this week because I had a very, very busy weekend and I just did not have the energy to record the reading on Sunday afternoon, so I'm doing this on Monday morning. It is already mid-morning. Sorry, it's taken me a bit to get off the ground today. Anyway, better late than never. So, how have you been going? Have you had a good week? Did any of the cards last week resonate with you? I'd really love to hear about your thoughts and feedback. It would be very interesting to see if it's not just me that's finding these cards are really resonating with what we're going through at the moment. So last week was a bit of a heavier week. And I'm hoping that this week is a little bit lighter. I haven't looked at the cards. I have already drawn them, but I haven't looked. Now, I've had two cards fall out, and sometimes when they fall out, it can just mean that they're not for the reading, but sometimes they may be for the reading. So I'm just going to put them to the side and see if I get called to pick one of them up whilst I'm reading the cards in the actual layout. Okay, we have quite a bit happening this week. We have dark moon tonight, or balsamic moon, which is the last phase of the moon before we come to the new moon, which will happen tomorrow. I'll have some more information on that tomorrow morning. There will be a post go up about that. We're having a new moon in Libra, so it's all about relationships, shared partnerships, that type of thing. So we will get into that more in another post. But tonight we have the dark moon, and it's really pertinent for you to just release everything that you're holding on to in this dark moon. It's a really great time to surrender, to ask whoever you pray to release what you no longer need so that you can move forward. Not a great day to start anything. So if you're thinking about starting a new project, maybe hold off until tomorrow. Okay, so let's get into the reading. I'm just going to have a quick glass of drink of water. Wow, like literally the last 3 minutes, as soon as I press record, we got a downpour of rain. It's really windy and it's gone really quite dark. So I have to apologise for the lighting. Okay, let's see what we've got for today. Okay, so we had this one, I think it might have been actually last week. We had this one before. It is the Tabby Cat, You Are Worthy. Now, often when we're having a dark moon too, we can feel like we are not accomplishing what we want to accomplish, and that we're maybe not as successful as what we see on social media, etc. You feel like, well, look what they're doing and I'm not doing anywhere near that. And it can make you feel a bit like you're not good enough, or you're not worthy. And this card here is saying that no matter what other people are doing, don't worry about what they're doing. It's none of your business what they're doing. You don't need to compare yourself to other people and where they are at life. I've learnt this the hard way because I never hit the milestones that all my friends hit, because I didn't go to uni. I didn't get married until much later in my life. I haven't had children. I haven't even had the chance to buy a house yet. So, you know, I haven't hit those milestones as lots of my friends have. So if I had compared myself, and I was comparing myself to them, I would look like I was losing in the race of life. But then I looked at it from a different perspective, and I realized that I just had a different journey from everybody else around me, or most people around me, and that I was still worthy of all the things that I wanted to bring into my life. And this Monday, you're being asked to remember that you don't have to be in line with whoever you are trying to keep up with. You know that saying, that people who often get lots of new stuff and that, and they say, oh, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are most probably trying to keep up with someone else as well. You don't need to do that. Run your own race, because you're worthy of everything that you have and everything that you're going to have and everything that you've ever had. Just know that you're loved and you're worth all of that, and let go of the need to compare yourself, because that only makes you feel like shit. Even when you're sitting at the top of the pile, it's going to make you feel like shit. So, because there's always going to be someone who's doing something that you class as better in your mind. Okay, so this Monday, remember that you are worthy. Okay. Oh, okay. Have we not been doing work? Because there's a lot of repeat cards here so far. 2 repeats. For Tuesday, we've got We Are One, Quaking Aspen. Now, I know we definitely had this last week. So they want to reiterate the We Are One. They want to reiterate that if you hurt yourself, you're hurting others. If you hurt others, you're hurting yourself. There is no disconnect, even though we may feel that way. It's an unfortunate position that we find ourselves as spiritual beings having a human experience, in that to have that experience, we must feel separate from the collective. But in reality, we will never be separated from the collective. And so often what we do when we do things that are not for our highest good, we're actually not just damaging ourselves, but we're damaging the collective. And on Tuesday, we need to remember that. So if you even go back to Monday's card, which is You Are Worthy, when you think you're not worthy, then you're thinking that sort of spreads to other people within your community, within the collective. We are all worthy. No matter what, we are all worthy. We need to remember that sometimes people do things that are not good for us because that's what they've been contracted to do. If you're of the same ilk as me, you will know that for a lot of you who've been long-time viewers, you'll know that I believe that we sign a contract when we come in, before we come down here to have our experience, that says we will do this in this lifetime. And sometimes that role is being a protagonist or doing something that you know that as humans we think is totally deplorable. But we have to try and remember that these things are being done so that we can learn lessons, or the people who are involved can learn lessons and move on. And ultimately, the ultimate lesson to learn is to experience joy. So whatever's happening for you on Tuesday, just remember that we are one. So be gentle with yourself. I really feel like this is more about how you treat yourself than how you treat others. And also, when we treat ourselves well, it just automatically, like osmosis almost. If we treat ourselves well, then we're highly likely to treat other people in the same way. However, I find that if you treat people really nice, it doesn't always come back to you treat yourself nice as well. So I really think that this is turning out to be a week where we more go within and think about how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, what we present to the outer world that lets people know how we want to be treated. Okay, oh, here we go again. Another card from last week. We have definitely not done the work. Okay, so we've got Asian elephant on a lineage. Okay, so what are you trying to say to me today? Okay, so they're showing me like a timeline, and they're saying that honoring our lineage or honoring our ancestors is something that we need to do, because the lessons that they were put here to learn sort of have a roll-on effect. And when it gets to our lifetime, you often find that the lesson is either a lesson that wasn't learnt by your ancestors or they couldn't learn, or it's a roll-on effect from what has been learned by your ancestors. So you'll often find that people from the same soul family who often reincarnate together often have the same sort of lessons that they have to learn. So it sort of goes down through the family line. So if that is one of, say, attracting domestic abuse relationships, you'll often find that it's not always just you that it is. If you're this person experiencing it or being the perpetrator, that often you'll find that actually maybe your father was, or your mother was, or a grandparent or a great-great-grandparent had the same similar experience. And often families will keep experiencing the same thing until someone breaks that cycle and learns the lesson. And I think, especially with all that's happening in this world, we're being really shown that we need to process what our ancestors have passed down and break those cycles. Because when you break that cycle, you not only break it for yourself, but you break it for future generations. So your children, your nieces and nephews, their children, your grandchildren, all that sort of stuff, you breaking the cycle for them. And that's really, really important. So once again, I think this honor lineage card is actually coming back to us and saying, what has been passed down through your family that you need to break to stop your children, to stop your younger family members from experiencing the same thing. So Wednesday is a really good day for thinking about that, for thinking about what is being passed down from family to family. And it could be something, if you think, we don't have history of violence or addictions or anything like that, but it could be something like, it could be something as little as expectations. Have all of your ancestors always had an expectation on their children, for example, to do a certain career or to take certain paths within life? Has that expectation been put on you and you don't want to do that? That type of thing. So it doesn't have to be a big thing like violence or addictions. It could be something in the way that every family is raised that might need to be changed because it no longer suits where we are going, like the future that we're going. Okay, for Thursday, we've got citron, full of riches. Okay, I don't want you to get too excited. I don't think it's about financial abundance, so doesn't mean that you're not going to win lotto. But this card is more about seeing the riches within. This is definitely a week of self-development, of going within. And with the new moon happening tomorrow in Libra, it can also be about the relationship that you have with yourself. And on the Thursday, they really want you to look at what you have to offer. Not just yourself, but the world. And they want you to be compassionate. They want you to be generous with yourself. and look at all the talents and skills and abilities that you have within you that are gifts, that are riches to not only yourself, but to the people around you, to your community. They're really focusing on, rather than looking at what you want to release on Thursday, maybe look at what you're grateful for. I'm so grateful that I'm empathetic to other people's situations. I am so happy and grateful that I have a body with high metabolism, so I never seem to put on weight. I would love that gift. I'm so happy and grateful that I have the ability to sing in tune, that type of thing. Like, look at everything about you and make a list about what you like about yourself. And then even then they're saying, and if you can't think of a lot of things, go to someone that you trust and ask them what they like about you. Okay, so Thursday is a day when we focus on what is good within us, what riches we have that we can use to enrich our lives, to enrich the lives of the people around us. Okay. Oh, we definitely weren't doing the work. Okay, so Friday is Ruby, you only more so. And I'm pretty sure that we had this exact card on the Friday just gone. I'm pretty sure it was this one. So when you look at the whole week, we look at, remembering that we're worthy, that we're worth love, that we're good enough. And that the things that we do affect, the way that we treat ourselves affects the way that we treat others, and that we need to see what lessons are being passed down through our lineage and stop them, make a decision to stop them now before they go through to further younger generations, and to think about all that we have that could be classed as a richness, like our riches that we have to give to ourselves and to the world around us. Friday, you're being called to be yourself again. Where is that authentic self? Where is it? Why aren't you bringing it out and being it? Okay? They're saying enough with the hats, enough with the masks. It's time to pack them away. They're not needed anymore. You just need to be your true authentic self. Now, I'm being told that maybe some of you don't actually know who that person is. That you're thinking, well, I thought I was being my authentic self. But many of us don't even know who that authentic self is because it's been so long since we've let that part of us shine. As I said last week, one of the ways to find out who your true authentic self is to think back about what you loved doing as a child. Like I'm talking about really love doing. Did you love drawing or writing or dressing up or playing sport or cooking with mum and dad or, whatever it is? And if you can't remember what you were, ask your parents if you can, or a sibling. What did I like doing when I was little? What do you remember me doing all the time? This is who you need to become. It is only our true authentic selves that will take us forward into the new future that's coming for us. So now is the time to drop those facades that we've been wearing for so long. You need to think outside the box. Just because you've done yoga for 15 years doesn't mean that you actually like it. Maybe you've just done yoga because that was the in thing to do. And so all your friends were doing it, so you did it. And then you sort of get on that treadmill and you can't get off. So don't automatically say, oh, look, well, I love yoga, so I'm going to do yoga. Do you really love yoga? Do you really get joy out of it, bliss, when you're sitting on your mat? Or is it just a thing you do because everybody else was doing it? So these are the things you need to ask yourself on Friday. How can I be more me? you know. I mean, it's very easy for me. Just be more weird. But seriously, this is what you need to think about on Friday. And we need to do the work, people, so I'd stop getting the same cards every week. We've discussed this before. Okay. So on Saturday, most fittingly, we have Lapis Lazuli, Step Up to Sovereignty. Okay, so straight away, they're saying to me, you need to treat yourself the way you would treat royalty. Now, I'm not talking about the bowing and the calling, your majesty and all that sort of stuff. But you know as well as I do, if you have visitors come to your house, most of us treat our visitors like royalty. We wait on them hand and foot. Would you like a cup of tea? Are you hungry? Can I make you something to eat? You take the comfy chair. Sometimes we like to leave little mints on pillows and things like that just to make our guests feel more welcome. On Saturday, we're saying you need to treat yourself like that. It's about recognizing your worth, which is what we were looking at today, Monday being the day I'm recording this. On Saturday, you need to think about what you're worth. And when you start to treat yourself like that, when you start to treat yourself as something royal or something precious, then you will find that other people will start to treat you like that. It's very easy to drop your boundaries and have people overstep them and treat you in a way that is often frustrating for you or not how you would actually want to be treated. And Saturday is saying you really need to think about A, your boundaries, but B, treating yourself how you want to be treated by others. It is all about recognizing your worth and then treating yourself like that. Okay, and then for Sunday, we have another repeat card. We have the beaver, Make Manifest. Okay, so this is a really fitting card to have on the Sunday of this week because we've been doing all this work on self-development. We've been doing lots of self-care, and I'm not talking about bubble baths and that, but I'm talking about working out where we have our talents, where we have our riches, what we have to give to ourselves and the world, treating ourselves like that, letting go of more masks, more facades, just letting them go, that we don't need them anymore, and treating ourselves more like the king and the queens that we are. And Sunday is a day to put that all into action. Do you know that when you treat yourself the way you want to be treated by others, people will automatically pick up on that energy and they will start to change the way they connect with you. And if you don't believe me, just change one thing about yourself that you want other people to do for you and see how you go. It's really surprising how much people pick up on the energy that we're giving out rather than what we actually say. So Sunday is really the time to say, okay, I'm going to put these things into action so that other people can know how I want to be treated. It's really quite funny because when we treat ourselves with respect, when we treat ourselves with dignity, then other people will start to treat us with respect and dignity, even if they were people who didn't treat you that way before. Because the energy you're giving off is saying, stop. If you're going to treat me in a way that I am not associating with, then you will not be able to pass. It's like the energy pushes them away. So I really want you on Sunday to think about how can you manifest all the work that you've done this week on yourself. How can you manifest that so that people start to take notice? People start to treat you the way you want to be treated. Okay. So the overall theme for this week is Grow Your Truth, black snake. Now you'll see this snake, he has all these colors coming in that are from the chakras. So you've got your red and your orange, and you've got your yellow and your green and your sky blue for your throat chakra, your indigo blue for your third eye, and your purple for your crown. And as we do this inner work, we are balancing our chakra system, okay? They're all interconnected. Just like we're interconnected to everybody, all the systems within us are all interconnected, including the energetic ones that you can't physically see. Well, most of us can't physically see. So this week, it's going back to you only more so. It's going back to your truth, your authenticity. It's time to start taking off the layers like an onion. Rip back the layers that are no longer who you are. And be happy being just you in every situation. For so long, I mean, especially as a child of the 80s and 90s, there was a big push to wear various masks. You wear this mask for work, and you wear this mask for your family, and you wear this mask for your friends. And now we're going into an era where we don't do that anymore. We are who we are, and that is it. And at this moment, this month we're going through, we need to be more aware of who we are becoming, of stripping back those layers and seeing who we authentically are and how happy that can actually make us feel. So I haven't been called to take in these extra cards that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading, so I'm taking them as not being needed. I really, really feel this is going to be a great week for deep inner work, especially today. Dark Moon is a really good day for some inner work, maybe some shadow work, so that you can see how worthy you really are. So if you have a chance this afternoon, please do some journaling. Draw a card asking how you can release what no longer serves you. And just journal about it. Maybe do a little bit of a meditation on this dark moon. Okay, well, that's it for this week. I've made it in just under half an hour. Woohoo! Mostly because I have so much more stuff to do today, and I've only just finished breakfast. Anyway, have a great week. Really remember that it's about you this week. It's about you finding your authentic self. It's about you being worthy. It's about you showing us all those riches within you that make you you. Okay, have a great week. I have some more announcements coming in the next few weeks. I'm actually relaunching my business. I've now got a space where I can receive clients. So in the next few weeks, I'll be providing more information with that. If you would like, I actually am setting up a newsletter. So if you would like to be kept up to date with things that are going on at Story and Stone, you can go to my website, www.storyandstone.com.au, and on that front homepage, you will see where you can sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that's it. I will see you in the next video.